Let me just introduce the panel here today. Remember, the fight is between also, we've seen a political fight also starting between the Congress-ruled Punjab, and in Delhi we have the Aam Aadmi Party. So from there we have from the Congresses, we have Adil Singh Boparai, spokesperson for Congress. We also have Akshay Marathe, spokesperson from Aam Aadmi Party, and we have Dr. Rajat Chauhan, the sports medicine doctor. First of all, today it's been announced that the odd-even scheme has been going on. I just wanted to ask, just before I throw it open to the mothers over here who have been fighting, let me just introduce you to them quickly. We have Shubhani over there. We also have Shere Bano, Ritika on my right. We also have Ruchika Singh Takkar and Vibha Batra. Thank you all for being over here. Just one of the figures that I wanted to give you, that the odd-even has already been in Delhi 2 phases last year round. It said that it remained hazardous. According to a study by Terry, it remained hazardous on most of the days. In fact, highest 2.5 was recorded at 276 on the first day it was. Then in the second phase when it came about, the concentrations, those poisonous gases, it remained 5 times higher than prescribed. So what would you like to ask the AAP government when they again introduced it today?
We've seen that it's really not worked. Let's be quite honest. The odd-even has really not affected the air to the level it should be. What we really needed were those electrical buses. What we needed were that transport system, which since last year, your AAP had promised us that, you know, they would phase it in. But we don't see nothing. Just shifting from personal cars to taxis is really, I don't think that's really going to change. And that is for us the biggest. And I think there are now studies which do not justify the odd-even scheme working out.
Akshay?
So, you know, before I actually answer the question, let me just make a opening statement, which is that as a member of the Aam Aadmi Party, I want to assure everyone in this audience, as well as people who are watching from Delhi, that your government is doing everything possible to solve this crisis. It is a public health emergency, and right, you said odd-even was announced today, but odd-even is not the only thing that the government is doing. Odd-even happens to be one of the many measures that the government has announced, and it's not like one odd-even step is going to transform Delhi's air quality in one go. But it doesn't mean that odd-even is not going to have any positive impact, and if it is going to have a certain positive impact, just imagine 50% of the cars going off the road. It is definitely going to help. It's not going to completely fix this problem, but just because it's not going to fix the problem completely doesn't mean that you don't actually implement it. And it's only for 5 days. I think what it also does, what odd-even also does very well, is that it engages with the citizenry. It involves people and asks them to play their role, play their part.
But that's tokenism, isn't it?
How is it tokenism? If it's actually going to
citizenry, engaging them right now, we're, as I said, and from the NGT panel coming out, they're saying this is an emergency. They're thinking of having artificial rain through helicopters. That's one of the suggestions by the Green panel today. And then you're talking about engaging people. I think we're all engaged enough in our misery, aren't we? Did you want to say something? Yeah.
I want to say that we've been talking about odd-even for a few weeks now. And we've been threatened or promised by the Aam Aadmi Party that there's some action happening. Today, it's all added up to this situation. Shouldn't we have thought of all this, like, say, in January, February, and now it's time for serious, you know, something serious and something very severe for the kind of situation that we're all facing outside? So what are we doing for the emergency situation?
So while the Aam Aadmi Party government does take full responsibility for what's happening in Delhi, let's also understand that this is not a Delhi crisis. It's spreading from Lahore in Pakistan all the way to Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh. Are you suggesting that the Aam Aadmi Party government was supposed to do anything about that?
I want to say...
I understand. I completely understand your concern, and it's very valid. It's valid for me as well. I live in this city. It's a huge concern for me as well, at an individual level. But what I'm trying to say is that the current crisis that we are in is not the product of Delhi alone.
Okay, that's actually a valid point. I just wanted to bring in for our viewers and those wondering, the factual situation is that the dust from as far as Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Iraq is also making our problems very difficult. But I just wanted to bring the Congress in before we let the mothers ask more questions, that why is it when the Arvind Kejriwal reached out to the Chief Minister of Punjab to talk about this, because so much of the crop burning is happening, why is it that, you know, he turned him down?
Sunitra ji, we share your concern. And let me be honest, I think we need an immediate solution because this affects all of us. But I'll tell you what our difficulty is holistically. We've been left with a state exchequer with a debt of close to 2 lakh crore rupees by the previous Akali Dal BJP government. We wrote to the central government earlier this year. We requested them for 2,000 crore rupees annually for a period of 3 years so that we can make a switch over to more eco-friendly ways for stubble disposal. The central government didn't even bother to reply to our letters. The difficulty is that this is an interstate issue. This affects Punjab, this affects Haryana, this affects Western Uttar Pradesh. And it's incumbent on the central government to intervene. Now, coming to the Aam Aadmi Party, I think it's a hypocritical party, and I'll demonstrate it how. Their leader of opposition in Punjab is inciting people to burn stubble. He's encouraging people to burn stubble. And here Mr. Kejriwal is claiming the high moral ground. This is something where there shouldn't be any kind of petty politicking. Not at all. I mean, this affects all of us. So I think the central government must intervene. If they can allocate 1 lakh crore rupees for a bullet train project, I think it's certainly important for them to allocate about 6,000 crore rupees for something which is so intrinsic to human life.
Okay, I know that you want to come in. Yeah, please, on the mic, yeah.
If you have a debt of 2 lakh crore, annually you will be paying interest of 20,000 crore.
Bring the mic closer, ma'am. Yeah.
What does it take to take 6,000 crore extra debt? It's not going to hurt you. If it's so super critical, why are you dependent on center? If you are sincerely concerned, on a 2 lakh crore debt, 6,000 crore is nothing. For example, if I were to relate it to myself, if I have a 2 lakh loan running, home loan running, but I need to take a 6,000 rupee loan for the health of my child. You know, I'm stopping my 11-year-old child that you can't go out and play. Wouldn't I do that? If I can buy a home and there is a loan of 2 lakh, your situation is similar. You're just into a blame game.
No, I think you put it across very well, and you speak for all of us, and I don't think you would have an answer.
I can answer that. I can answer that. Running a state is very different, point number one. Point number two, this doesn't affect Punjab alone. Please understand, there are exigencies of financial administration. No, I share the concern. This affects me equally as much as it affects you.
Don't give. I've been an analyst all my life, apart from being a mother.
I appreciate your concern. We've been writing to the central government.
Let's stick to the numbers. You have a 2 lakh crore debt. You just need 6,000 crore more.
No, madam, it's easier said than done. We've been writing. This is something which is no. This is something which strictly falls in the domain of the central government.
It doesn't.
Of course it does. Of course it does. These
are
farmers.
The question is, I think one of the things that we must also point out is that while this was happening and AAP looked like the, as trying to reach out, what is also the politics that you're talking about is also significant, because even AAP, a report has also pointed out how AAP MLAs themselves in Punjab are encouraging crop burning. So blame is across all political parties, and we have to look at that. One question, I think, if we just want to cover a lot of the things right now. One of the things that perhaps many people are asking is the children's schools have been, it's such an emergency that schools have been shut down till Monday. Construction has been shut down. Just kind of imagine how it is to pursue, and for a lot of the senior kids over here, we're going to hear from the kids in just a short while from now. But imagine that marathon runner was running and he was protesting that he was made to run. It's not just that, the Ranji Trophy is going on, the Golf Open with various countries, about 32 countries that are involved, they're all taking place. So doctor, I want you to come in over here, because it affects physical activity. We're all being told, don't even go for a walk. So these people are out there taking part in games. What would you say to them?
It's across the board. So it's not only about marathon running, because again and again we're only talking about the marathon runners. I mean, again, disclaimer is I'm a runner. So point is, it's about any physical activity where you're exerting yourself isn't the thing to be doing. All right. So
so these organizers who are going ahead with the Golf Open in Gurgaon and the Ranji cricket match
shouldn't be happening. So why target only a marathon? Not that I'm in favor of marathon happening. I mean, 1,500 for God's sake. All right.
1,500. Again,
yeah, I mean,
safe is 25.
Yes.
1,500 is what we are dealing with.
Totally. I mean, how much water and salt can do with a 1,500?